For 15 years, Sarah's Bakery was the heart of Cedar Street. Every morning, the scent of fresh bread and warm cookies would drift through the neighborhood, drawing people in like a warm hug. The walls were covered with photos: first birthdays, wedding celebrations, retirement parties, each one telling a story of moments made sweeter by Sarah's creations. But life, like baking, doesn't always follow the recipe. When the city began their year-long street renovation project, the steady stream of customers slowed to a trickle.
It's temporary,
Sarah told herself, watching another delivery truck struggle to navigate the maze of construction barriers.
We just need to hold on.
Every Tuesday for 15 years, Mr. Chen would arrive at 7:15 a.m., order his almond croissant and jasmine tea, and grade papers at the corner table. He was a high school math teacher who claimed Sarah's Bakery had the perfect equation of warmth and quiet for morning work. When the construction started, he still came, navigating through the dust and noise, until the day Sarah had to tell him it would be their last Tuesday together. The display case that once held rows of perfectly glazed danishes and plump muffins now echoed with emptiness. Sarah found herself arranging and rearranging the few remaining items, trying to make 3 chocolate chip cookies and a slightly dented apple turnover look like enough. When a young mother came in asking for a birthday cake, Sarah had to break the news that she couldn't take any more orders. It was the first time she cried in front of a customer. The bills didn't wait for the construction to finish. Each month, Sarah dipped deeper into her savings, trying to keep her small team employed. Then came the morning her industrial mixer, the backbone of her business, gave out with a grinding sound that matched the ache in her heart. The repair cost might as well have been $1 million. Her accounts were as empty as her display cases. The closing sale was harder than she imagined. Long-time customers hugged her, some crying as they bought their final dozen cookies.
Your cinnamon rolls were at every Christmas morning.
What will we do without you?
An elderly woman whispered. 6 months later, Sarah barely recognized herself in the gas station mirror, adjusting her name tag for another late shift. The photos from the bakery sat in boxes in her garage, too painful to look at, too precious to throw away. That's when Amy walked in, clutching her daughter Emma's hand. Sarah recognized them, the little girl with Down syndrome who used to press her nose against the bakery window every Thursday, watching the cookie decorating.
Emma promised to bring cookies for her class tomorrow,
Amy explained, exhausted.
I completely forgot and she's so upset.
That night, in Amy's small kitchen, Sarah taught Emma how to measure flour and crack eggs. The little girl's face lit up when she successfully piped her first frosting flour.
You make me feel smart,
Emma said, and something in Sarah's heart began to heal. Word spread through the special needs parent network. One student became 5, then 10. The community center offered their kitchen for weekend classes. Former employees started volunteering. Sarah watched as children who struggled with confidence found their place in the measured precision of baking. The community center's kitchen wasn't fancy, just 2 ovens and a cluttered counter space. But every Saturday morning, it transformed. Mary, Sarah's former pastry chef, started showing up with her specialized piping tips. Tom, who'd maintained her equipment for years, brought in adaptive tools he'd modified himself. Parents began staying after class, sharing stories over coffee and day-old muffins. My son never felt successful in school, one mother confided, watching her teenager carefully measure vanilla extract. But here he's the star baker. When the students organized their first bake sale, the line stretched around the block. Mr. Chen was there, buying an imperfectly frosted but perfectly made almond croissant from his former barista's son. The equation is still perfect, he smiled, just solved in a different way. Today, Sarah's kitchen looks different from her first bakery. It's smaller, with adaptive equipment and step-by-step visual guides on the walls. Half the space is dedicated to teaching. Her staff includes 4 former students, and yes, Emma is her assistant instructor for the beginner classes. Sometimes life's greatest disappointments lead us exactly where we need to be. Sarah no longer just bakes sweet treats. She bakes confidence, independence, and joy into every lesson. Because sometimes you have to lose your dream to find your calling.